to the Winners Lounge. Jokic dropped 50. What?
They lost the game.
No, Jokic had 50.
Yeah,
Indeed, he did, and they also lost by 5.
He had 11 assists, though.
12 assists, actually.
12 assists.
And they lost again.
What the?
They lost that game.
God damn it. What the hell just happened? Honestly, Jokic, I think it actually only scored 50 in a loss because if it takes 50, the Nuggets something was going horribly wrong because he is not going to shoot so many times that Denver needs it. Like, tonight he gets 50 because it's like nobody else is going to make something. This is a tough one, guys. This is a tough Losers Lounge to be on. It's aided by the fact that I've had like 6 Breck brews.
Yeah. Adam is turned up to 11. Let's go.
I'm turned up to 11, man. I'm turned up to 11. We got a lot of this is a meaty Losers Lounge we're going to have. A lot of conversations. Don't worry, guys. We're going to have
Meat's back on the menu,
we're going to have a
boys.
lot of criticism for Barton. I got a lot of people wondering if we're going to talk about it. Yes, we will, in fact, talk about how badly he played tonight and really for the last couple games. But first, some introductions.
Yeah, we should introduce. A lot of people think Vogt looks very different.
He does look a little bit different. But first, guys, our presenting sponsor tonight, DraftKings Sportsbook. Don't know if you've heard of it. Almost made some. I made a little. Actually, I came out even tonight.
I bet Rashawn Holmes points.
that was your saving grace. But you want to use promo code DNVR when you do. New Vogt over here. It's Spencer from DNVR Golf.
That is me.
Big Drive Spence.
Big Drive Spence.
Big Drive Spence. Yeah, dude. Big Drive Spence and DNVR Golf making a big membership push. Got a lot of follows today on Twitter. They're
Big
giving
push
away a
today.
free.
We followed a ton of people, or got a ton of follows on Twitter, and we got a golf lesson with a Denver Bronco today. So it was a great day. And yeah,
Justin Strnad.
Yes.
Who was it?
Justin Strnad, the linebacker.
Oh, nice.
So
how are linebackers at golf usually?
He was really good. Like
Really?
he was like raw talent,
Smashes
but
at 500
he
yards.
was like, I met him and I was like, holy shit, you're way bigger than I thought you were.
It's pretty funny. Over here, I got D-line.
What's up, guys? I win, lose. I prefer a win, just to be clear. But
Say whatever you're about to say is a lie.
We still booze.
Then over here, of course, Duvalier.
That is not Brennan for everyone.
That is
out
not
there.
Brendan.
It's not.
The
not
haircut
new
that
Brennan.
Brennan got, they put on.
It's so true. Well, guys, this sucks, man. I mean, I want to ask the big takeaway before I push anybody anywhere, but one thing that is just like undeniable, the Nuggets this season, pretty good record. If you just take out the 3 losses to the goddamn Sacramento Kings, every team has a team that has their number, but usually it's not a horrible. Like if you're a good team, your number is not got by a horrible team. And the Kings look like they have some pieces or this or that, but their record proves they are not good. They only beat the Nuggets, and that sucks, man. And it's even especially more ironic, and maybe to me personally a little bit funnier, that it's Malone's team that he most would like to have a winning record for, and he does not. They're 10-10 in the Malone era against the Sacramento Kings, which I find funny. But I'm going to start over here on the right with Duvalier, Superstar Dev. What's your big takeaway from this? You can go a lot of directions.
There's so many different directions that you can go.
So many.
But the one direction that I have to go with is
Harry Styles.
Everyone is so upset whenever you say anything critical about Michael Porter Jr. This was the worst Michael Porter Jr. game. That was not a good game on either end of the floor. He couldn't make shots. Defensively, he's been what he's been as of late. That has to be my biggest takeaway of the game. He was horrible today.
Michael
He's a
Porter
minus
Jr.
a team worst minus 20 tonight, and that was lifted by the fact that Jokic made all those freaking shots at the end to make it more respectable. Like, he really was tough, and there's a lot of layers to this onion. One of them is we know Michael Porter, at least I believe, is a lot better of a player than what he was tonight. In part, he goes 3 of 11. And I don't remember what he was the last game, but it wasn't great as well, and it's a little bit of a stretch here. He makes mistakes. He lowers you defensively. Like the team, I think, defensively doesn't have a ton of confidence, but he makes up for a lot of that, sometimes more than that, by knocking down shots. And to me, it looks like his confidence is rattled. If I could ask you to play body language doctor over here.
Doc Spence.
He's just got that look where it kind of goes back to when he was getting benched after he'd make a mistake, and he knew it, and like once the mistake happened, he's like, oh no, here it comes again. And that's like it didn't happen today completely, but he did get benched, I think, middle of the fourth quarter, and it's just one of those. He has that language like if I don't play, like he's putting extra pressure on himself instead of just being confident and playing. And it also hurts when the guy that you're matched up against, he started tonight, has 28 points in Harrison Barnes and makes everything he looks at. It doesn't. and then you put it that there's 2 sets of extra pressure on Michael Porter Jr. and he just did not. He crumbled under it tonight.
I mean, if you look at just the starting lineup, actually, if you look at everybody, here's what's crazy. You have Millsap was a -2, Barton was a +3, Porter was a -20,
Barton was a plus.
Jokic was a +2, Morris was a +1, Green a -3, -1 for Chanchar, -1 for Howard, -4 for Hampton. Everybody is a minus or +4 or less. And then you have Michael Porter, who is a -20. And I feel like it felt like that tonight. Like
-20.
It felt like that tonight, from blown rotations to like just guarding your man to what you're talking about and not being able to do it. And I don't want to put this on because honestly, there's so many things.
Is it on the screen right now?
Oh yeah, Michael. Yeah, the Michael Malone like is out. And I have to say this, like, I don't think that this game is on Michael Porter like solely. Like, hey, some nights there are guys that you're like, yo, it's on so and so. Sometimes Porter. It's heavily on him because this was a great opportunity. He played 34 of 48 minutes tonight. Was a -20 in a 5-point game. The 14 minutes without him were a +15 in like limited minutes. And this was, to me, I wish he had more confidence from his coach. I wish Michael Malone believed in him more. It feels to me very much like Michael Malone doesn't believe in him. And I know as a player, and we've talked about this, Dev, that's tough when you sense that your teammates and coach don't believe in you. And I feel like he's playing like a guy like that. But at the same time, you only get so many opportunities in the NBA, and you can't wait for the situation to be perfect or for all this. You have to break through whatever wall it is that it takes to show adversity to get to the other side. And tonight, he got 34 minutes despite the fact that he was pretty bad in all 34 of them, and they kept going back to him, He had so many chances tonight to turn a corner, and he just didn't.
Yeah, before the game and in the pregame show, Vogt said, which game would you take from Mike today? Would you take one where he goes wild on offense and there's a Mike type of game?
Right.
Or one that he's locked in on defensively, he's rebounding and doing everything that he had to do? Well, we didn't get either one of those.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so hard, because everyone is saying that Michael Porter Jr. should be on the floor. He should be out there playing. Tonight was a night that he was on the floor, and not only was he on the floor, he was relied on to be a scorer, to be the offensive weapon for the Nuggets. And he did not show up, so it put it on other guys to have to put themselves in situations, as well as Jokic had to carry the load all by himself. And that's just not something that you want from a player like Jokic, because like you said to begin the show, if Jokic gets 50, that means that everyone else around him is not doing as much. He's having to do a lot.
He doesn't want to get 50.
He doesn't want to get 50.
Just makes it tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway from the game is that when we don't have our top 4 guards, like, we're not as deep as we maybe once thought.
That is true.
Maybe not as
Marcus
deep.
Howard's minutes weren't fantastic, although it was fun. Like, I won't lie.
Dude, as soon as Marcus came in, I was like, shoot it.
Every time.
And then he missed a bunch, and I was still like, whatever, shoot it.
He's not going to sleep well tonight, man. Marcus Howard is not going to sleep well tonight.
Man, what a gross game by almost every measure, except for
Jokic
who's
going for
just
50.
the greatest player of all time. Like, it's funny because when the chips were down, it was like, just give it to Jokic. Just give it to you. Like, you literally can't rely on anybody else to even like shoot 3-pointers. Even Jokic has to hit the 3-pointers. He's got to rebound. He's got to dish out assists. Like, Will Barton was as bad as Will Barton can be tonight. Like, Michael Porter Jr., I don't know if it's confidence. I mean, it seems that way. This is a trend. I feel like
it's
he was
trending down. Like, confidence looks like it's trending way the F down.
I feel like he was up till 4 a.m. playing Fortnite.
So I have a question for you guys, and this may be an overreaction to this game, but do you think going forward teams will look at the Nuggets and be like, let Jokic have whatever he wants, as long as we let him do that? No, we're not going to lose to this team.
I'll say no, just because of the fact that I think
Jamal
that any other
out.
night you'll have another player that's going to step up and score. Also, this was just a bad scoring night completely for the Nuggets. Will Barton did not step up. He played really bad.
So bad.
Millsap wasn't great tonight. Monte wasn't what he's been. Nobody else was really what they had been.
Monte was turning the ball over?
You can't do those type of things on a regular night. This was just a night that it was perfect, and it just happened to be against the Kings, who already seem to have their number.
I think the thing we're not talking about here is defensive, and if like it's tough to criticize Jokic in a game where he drops 50, an extremely efficient 20 of 33 from the field, 50 points. But the one thing I will say is that his defense has trended down over the last 3 or 4 as well. And part of this is he's asked to do so much offensively, but at the same time, when you're down so many guys, you need your
top guys.
Your top guys, like you need your superstars to step up in every facet, and like he stepped up beyond anybody's wildest expectations today, scoring. But I felt like defensively, he's not without blame for why it was so easy for Sacramento to score tonight. And they got their efficient points. I would say the first reason is because Denver we were talking about this as the game was live. It's very noticeable how unathletic Denver is.
I know.
You know,
unless you're talking about RJ Hampton.
Then he stood out so much because of that. Like, we're going to talk a lot about RJ Hampton. I thought this was his best game of his career, which doesn't say much, but it's his best. He was very impressive tonight. But part of that was because he was like, oh, wow, De'Aaron Fox is 3 times quicker than everybody on the Nuggets roster. And Denver, even their guys that are quote-unquote good defenders, just look like they couldn't stay in front of him. And it makes you, like, you start to go through it and you go, okay, Millsap, terrible athlete. Jermichael Green, average or below. You go through, you go Monte Morris, not a great athlete. You know, you start going through the list and you're like, where are the great athletes at? Michael Porter, who's kind of a weird athlete, by the way. Like, he doesn't utilize all of it.
I would call him a weird human.
Not going to go there, but he's probably got like a 40-inch vertical and all this stuff. But it doesn't always pop off the screen where it's like he's out athleticizing everybody. RJ Hampton really was the only guy, and in games like this, you really notice it.
So much, and for me it was beyond even it's funny, just by the way, like your like semi-negative slant on Jokic like just set the comments on fire. You need to be traded anyway.
Nobody can question my Jokic credentials, guys. I guess Europe, there's a lot of people staying up in Europe tonight.
Yeah, you
like, I'm sorry, Jokic
try to pull his Jokic
gets a singular A+ tonight, not an A++, but he gets an A+.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this it's the thing about basketball is that like it's different when it's different people playing it. So like when you don't have Jamal Murray playing and instead you have RJ Hampton, you don't have PJ Dozier, instead you have RJ Hampton,
Marcus Howard.
You have Marcus Howard. It just, you know, it throws things off. Like, you know, Gary has been wildly inconsistent this year, and I don't think there's a single person though that argues that he hasn't been trending up. And like, there's just something to be able to have something you can count on from your teammates. As you know, for Gary it's always defense, but as we went down the stretch it was like, what can we expect from a single other player on the court to do outside of Nikola Jokic? Like, just feed Nikola Jokic in the paint or behind the 3-point line, and like everybody else just get out of the way. Michael Porter Jr.'s head was hanging.
Right.
He was his hands were on his hips. So miserable, dude.
And it's funny because the third quarters have been the killer for Denver. And in this one, I think it was actually the start of the fourth because Jokic plays the whole third. He comes out, I think Ryan Blackburn had it. He came out for 69 seconds.
Nice.
Typically,
Nice.
It'd be nice. Not so nice tonight. Like, Denver not on this receiving end of that 69 seconds. Is that right?
I think there's usually two receiving
there was a
ends.
very unreciprocal 69 seconds.
Yeah, that's a real give and take.
It was a really unreciprocal 69 seconds. It was definitely Nuggets.
68 now you won.
But I mean, honestly, like
Yes.
this was the thing is Jokic came out in the Laker game for 3 minutes, and the game was literally over in those 3 minutes. They go from leading to down big, and then in this one, you sit on them for 69 seconds, and it's like now we have to dig out of an even bigger hole than they were in.
Yeah, but the thing that befuddles me about this game is when you have guys.
Befuddle.
Yeah, that was a good one. The thing that throws me off though, really, is you have guys they're bench guys that are finally getting the minutes. So you would expect them to play
Right.
super hard. Then you see your best player give his all on offense, and he's doing everything that you have to do, like to win a game. You would expect more people to be inspired, or at least just to try, just to put themselves in situations where it's like, hey, Yoke, I see you doing everything that you have to do. We're going to do our point too. We're going to play harder defense. We're going to grab the boards. We're going to do more for you. Since you're exerting so much energy on offense, let us have your back. That's the thing for me with the Nuggets. A lot of guys don't have his back. It seems like he's on an island out there. It looks like the NBA math on the court. Like,
Right, it does look like that.
About it,
where he's up in the clouds and he's like,
so
guys,
like,
somebody climb this
who else
mountain
is
with
around me, and it's
I'm
no
so
one on
lonely
this
up
team.
here.
That's just that throws me off about the Nuggets this year.
Nuggets have, like, how many of Jokic's best regular season games have come this season? I think, like, we're 21 or 22 games into the season, 22 games. I feel like 10 of his top 25 regular season games have already come this season, and I don't know, they're probably 5-5 in those games.
And the
It's
worst
crazy.
part is you can't appreciate them all because they're not winning them.
Tonight's not a game I'm going to want to go back and like relive. Like there's a lot of
it was
great Jokic
miserable.
games where I'm like, I want to watch that one every now and then.
Miserable
I'll find
cover
it.
to cover.
This is one where I'm like,
Yo, did we have this? We had the lead for like 11 seconds this game, right?
I know, yeah.
We
they
were up by
couldn't get
1, and it was
yeah.
like, okay. And then they just immediately hit a 3 because
Well, yeah,
that's what happened
even at the end of the
point.
game, Yoke was shrugging his shoulders like after he made that inbounds pass, and then the ball found him, and he banks a 3 in. And it's just like that was the kind of night that the Nuggets
What a
had.
joke,
Since you're
man.
on, you have to do the reads, you know.
Oh, well,
I know you know how to do them.
I do know how to
I
do
know
them.
you know how to
but
do them,
which-
so you better
which-
pull those up because we're coming. But
All
before
right.
we do, I want to play to the crowd here. I want to play to the audience. I had to block a guy. I don't like blocking people.
Oh, yes,
but
he
somebody
does.
thought
You
it
know
would
who
be
else
a good
blocks
idea
guys?
to live tweet all of Bartman's mistakes, as if I wasn't seeing them. Like as if I wasn't watching the game, and it would be a good idea to just hit me with like. And it was literally every time down court, like didn't even look at Michael Porter in the corner, like boom, instant block. So guys, heads up, please don't do that. Like this is because here I
a
am.
warning, chat.
I'm never lying to you guys. I'm never like sharing. I don't carry water for any of these dudes. I don't know them. And I actually haven't seen any of them for 12
would say-
months. Like, there's no value in me carrying water for guys.
I
I
would
just
say they
give my
like,
opinion.
actually don't like
They
you.
aggressively dislike me, actually. It's actually, you're right, Eric. Thank you for that clarification. Will Barton was atrocious tonight, and it's a trend with him. Like, I think a lot of people want to blame this on, like, selfishness or some ego thing that I just don't think is there with him. I just don't think he has it this year, guys. Like, every now and then he has a decent game because he'll knock down some threes or this or that, but he can't get to the cup. He doesn't have his athleticism. He's aged a lot, and it's the injury, guys. There's nothing else to it. It's the injury, but he's playing it like I would have expected him to play at like 34, 35. He's not the type of player I expect to have a long, extended career, because once that athleticism is gone, he has to adjust, and he hasn't really learned how to do that so far. And again, like, we want to talk about Michael Porter and how bad he was. At least Will Barton knows where to be on the court and like not to make those real egregious mistakes. But at the same time, man, 4 of 12 tonight,
So bad.
3 turnovers, and that doesn't even tell the story of it. Like, he couldn't guard anyone tonight as well.
Yeah, but to go back to Barton,
That's what I'm talking about.
Barton is being exactly what he's always been.
Right. Can't do it, though.
The fact is that he's not making the shots. And
Right.
that's when you start to really see the things that he needs to work on, or where you really get to criticize him, is because when the shots are not falling, it's easier to see like the criticism. I remember like, a couple years ago when Nate Robinson was in the league. He was
Hell
making
yeah.
everything half court, all these shots, and everybody loved Nate Robinson. He's dunking and everything. As soon as he starts missing those same shots that he was taking, it's like, why is he in the league? This guy is
Right.
horrible.
Yeah. Right.
Get him out of the league. And that's what's happening with Barton.
Yeah.
He's not making the same shots. He's not the same player that he once was. I don't think we'll ever see the player that he once was. And he doesn't have the athleticism and explosion that he had due to the injury. It's going to be hard for him to come back. But then at the same time, it's like so many IQ plays or things that like he's a good fit for certain
Right.
things that make
He's
it hard that you have
underrated
to
in
be
that regard.
that it makes it difficult. But this is a game that Barton was horrible. He was absolutely
And they
bad.
needed him to be
So
good at the
bad,
thing he likes most, which is scoring. They needed him to be good at that tonight. He gets 11 points.
Dude, what about when he was like went down and was like shaking back and forth, and then the
he
guy
just
just
dribbles it out
dropped
of
the
bounds.
ball? We're
Oh,
like,
Grabbed it. The guy
man.
just was like, I'll take it.
Well, and I think that's what makes this game hurt worse is that they needed Will Barton.
They desperately
like
needed
in
Will
a
Barton.
game with Jamal Murray on the floor. You don't, and Will Barton goes 2 for 6. It's not that bad of a game, but he goes 4 for 12, and it's all of a sudden a bad. Like
Yeah.
you see it, it's in the spotlight.
But this is what I'm saying about him. I don't think he's capable of the big game. And I'm not saying that to be a hater. Like, I like Will Barton. I think he's way better than what the most fans seem to think over his career in Denver. But I just don't think he's capable. If Denver has to play on Monday with the same lineup,
Yep.
I wouldn't be like, well, we need Barton to go for 25, because I would just be like, that's not going to happen. I might as well say
No.
Marcus Howard needs to go for 25. I think he can do some of the like role player stuff. He's hurt, man.
Dude,
Like it's not. He's hurt.
when you find yourself in a position where you're like reliant on Will Barton
Yeah.
and Paul Millsap and
Right.
some of
and
these
Paul
other
Millsap especially, yeah. him
you're
too.
like, oh no, like, oh no, these are the guys we need to be counting on to score
Right.
outside of Jokic. Like, this is a bad situation. Like, we need Jamal Murray. Like, we can't work. This team does not work without Jamal Murray.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't. There's just no way around it. Like, and it doesn't.
and they
work.
need good Jamal Murray. That's the
They
thing.
need good
Is like when
Jamal
we talk about this all the time. Jokic is pretty much always good. I don't think he was good last game against the Lakers. I think that was his one game that I would give him like below a B grade.
Which I
He's
was
an A.
surprised.
He's got like 22 games. He's got like 18 A's, 3 B's, and then the one failing grade against the Lakers, in my opinion. So he's been fantastic this year, but you need that second guy. When he's up here, when Murray's up here, they win. When Murray's here, 50-50. When Murray's down here, they lose. Or when he's not available, they lose. And this is how it goes right now.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, just the simple fact of just having guys out causes just such a shift in the equilibrium of this team. Like, it's just like a gyroscope where it gets imbalanced. You, like, don't quite know what the bench unit is. Like, guys are not used to playing with one another. We were getting a nice rhythm with Facu. Obviously, Murray and Jokic were doing things because they always do. And Gary, and then you have to like put guys that were comfortable playing with other guys in the starting lineup. Then it's new guys that haven't played all season in the bench unit, and you're just like, what is happening? What is this?
But as much as I'd love to just spend all this time, you know, I know for fans they really want to just rag on Will Barton, who again was a team high +3 tonight. Like, this is what's funny about it is
he was awful,
literally people are like plus minus doesn't matter, and like I'm not saying Will Barton is the reason he was a +3 tonight. Jokic was the reason anybody was a positive in tonight's game. If plus minus was perfectly accurate, he would have been a +50 tonight. Like, that's how great he played. But Will Barton was still a +3. The reason tonight is that the Michael Porter Jr. experiment has really gone off the rails over this last week, and it's just concerning to me because my take on it is twofold. Michael Porter has a lot of tough lessons to learn. It's funny that the card he got pulled was the Tower, where it was all about. Remember the tarot card we did before the season with Ariardo Lardarski.
He needed to acknowledge, look in the mirror, and make changes.
It was that the worldview has to change, exactly. Like, your worldview falls for it to be rebuilt or whatever. And like, so there is part of this where I'm like, I know this is the Bardem effect where we're just like projecting things into this or whatever. But I'm serious about, like, there's a lot that Michael Porter doesn't know that I have been very vocal about. But at the same time, he's better than this. And what scares me about it is that over this last week, he's moving in the other direction. Confidence, effectiveness, shot making, all of those things are moving in the wrong direction, and I hate to see it.
Everything is about confidence with him, especially a player that's game is all about taking tough shots and making tough shots. He's a tough shot taker, but he's also a tough shot maker. And when your confidence is down and you're not even shooting the same shots that you normally would, you're not going to find any type of flow at all.
I'm sorry. I have to interrupt because we just went from Hanson to Creed at the bar. I don't know what the hell is happening. Am I in hell right now?
No, the bar, like, place? The bar is definitely like aware that the Nuggets lost, but they turned the page pretty quick. Like, we immediately got some Neil Diamond. We went straight into like
we went from Neil Diamond to Hanson to Creed.
It's turn up time downstairs.
Let's take a break. I might have to buy a new song just for the bar to not like suck.
Get the touch tunes rocking.
But for Spencer, we've had a lot of people do ad reads here. Harrison's the gold standard.
What read are we doing?
We're doing Friday show, so you can go to first ad break for Nuggets Friday show. You know how to do this.
I don't know if I'm in there.
Adam likes to put people in positions to fail.
Oh man, this is such a bummer. Yeah, this is.
I got this. Like, I will handle this. Yeah, I just don't know where it is.
Oh, I'm gonna find it for you right here. Watch, you're gonna see this here. Podcast traffic log. I can't wait to see how he does on this. All right, we're on Friday. BSN Nuggets. They haven't traded that part, but you can scroll over. Do you know how to read this?
No.
All right, everyone in the chat.
No, I
everyone
have
in the chat.
I have that right there.
No, this is good. Hold on, stay tight.
Great pod.
Do you know how to read these?
You got to click it for me, dude.
There's nothing. Oh, you don't know the reads off the top of your head?
I have this.
Oh, you have a whole different thing over here.
What do you guys think of this in the chat? Let us know.
Just give me this ad read.
Actually, you want to know something? Kale could actually help us out by giving us a Zoom Care read first while we prepare, because we actually have Zoom Care today.
Yeah, come on, Kale, help us out.
We can do the video one, yeah.
Yeah, Zoom Care.
Please, God.
So what exactly is video care? Well, video care is like a trip to Zoom Care, just from your couch. You can see, hear, and chat with your doctor, just like a traditional in-office visit. Get secure access to urgent, primary, and specialist care, including mental health. It's all from the comfort of your own home. Video care is covered by most private insurers, usually with a copay. Head to zoomcare.com/video to get started.
We should put people on to do the ad read from the group chat.
All right, so we were talking about the meat earlier, and now we're going to talk about the real special type of meat, and Hassel Cattle Company, Wagyu.
Look at Jeff's face.
We were talking about meat earlier.
We were. We said we were getting into the meat of the conversation. We said meaty, and that made me immediately think to Hassel Cattle Company
I gotta
because
buy a different song from Creed,
I grilled up some ribeyes last night. Phenomenal.
Is this a
I
true
gotta
story?
ask you.
Is this
100%.
Vote in the comments if you think this is a
No,
true
this is
story.
100%.
I got to ask you, though, about your method. Grilling versus flat top. Why the grill?
Because I have a grill.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
I was
that
like,
is.
and I like to grill. That's like my
I know,
number one.
But so much of that fat renders and spills off into the flames, wasted.
It's not like I mean, there's not actual flames coming up. Like
Okay.
I still get the fat. That's my favorite part of the stick. All right, so we have Hassel Cattle Company, Premier Wagyu beef. We brought you damn good beer, and now we're bringing you damn good beef.
Let's go.
Hassel Cattle Company is the absolute best source for farm-to-table Wagyu beef in the country, in the entire United States.
This is incredible read. This is the Will Barton of reads right here.
Hassel Cattle Company is a fourth-generation
Are you
cattle
just going to
farm
read
out
the
of
sheet, or
Texas.
are you going to put from the heart, dude? Speak from the heart.
They ship straight out of Texas, straight to your door. It is phenomenal. The beef bacon is phenomenal.
That's
The
true.
beef sticks are phenomenal.
now
The
he's got his
ribeyes,
flow.
they have Denver
He's on
steaks.
fire. He's cooking now.
Denver steaks. What is more
Give him space.
DNVR than
Give him
Denver
space.
steaks?
Nothing. Nothing is more DNVR.
And you can grill.
space.
I mean, they ship right to your door. You put it on the grill or a flat top if you don't like the grill. I don't know who doesn't like grilling their steaks, but you put it on a flat top. You can put it in a stove top, or you can. And we. All right.
Yo, the bar.
The bar's popping for some
The bar's
reason.
popping.
So weird vibes at the bar, but still, do not forget to head to HasselCattleCompany.com, HASSEL, CattleCompany.com. Use that promo code DNVR10 for 10% off your order. And if you buy $200 worth of meat, you get free shipping right to your door.
Man, they're really. I don't even know this song. Do you know this one, Dev?
This is Lips. Yeah, you don't know this song?
What is it?
Lips of an Angel by.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't really matter.
It doesn't
Actually, somebody
matter.
can Google
This
it.
is a high school song for me.
All right, let's pull on to some better things, guys. The silver lining of tonight's game was twofold. One, Jokic went for 50, and like honestly, man, if I'm being perfectly honest with you guys, watching Jokic go for 50, even a loss. I've watched the Nuggets for 37 years of my life. That's not true. I don't think I watched them when I was 4, but for at least 30
You're that
years.
old?
For 30 years, I've watched. For 30 years, I've watched the Nuggets team play, and watching Jokic go for 50 and a loss,
Yo.
it's still in the top like 90th percentile of Nuggets experiences. Oh, get out of here with your these little gossip girlies over here.
No, I do agree. I did call it. I said Jokic is going to make a three here to get his career high and 48 at the point.
Still felt dirty
And
because you knew they were going to lose
Oh,
even
yeah.
when he got
Mhm.
Yo, we
Yeah,
got a full
it's a-
sing-along going downstairs.
like-
It's 6 p.m. Like, by the
The
way.
DNVR bar is popping.
there. Oh, wow, they're feeling it. RJ Hampton, though, to me was the other silver lining tonight. He gets 7 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists.
RJ was great, dude.
You know, I don't think you should expect to. RJ's doing the perfect job of what a rookie should do when they come into a game. You're not out there to do all the things you did in high school. You're not out there to do all the things that are in your mixtape, knock down the threes and go for dunks to the side. You're out there to hustle, rebound, and show that you can learn the details before they, allow you to do the fun stuff. And I feel like I've said this all year, but tonight he gets a lot of minutes. He gets 27 minutes tonight. And I felt like he was all about, I know why I'm out here. I got to tilt the game from an energy perspective. 10 rebounds from a dude that weighs 130 pounds. Okay, he weighs more than that, but doesn't weigh a whole lot, is impressive as hell. And that guy just
Yo.
I'm rooting for him. I don't know if he's a good player yet,
Yeah.
but I really hope he is because I just love his energy and the way he approaches it.
You talked about RJ Hampton coming in and doing what the Nuggets needed him to do tonight. RJ Hampton came in and did something that'll be a nation, like to keep him in this league. That's something that every single team will want. A guy that's super athletic that does everything that you need. He's everywhere on the floor. He takes open shots. He's in the open lanes. Like he's getting to the open spot. Everything is just good with him, and that's the type of characteristic he's gonna have if he wants to stick around for a while.
Yeah.
Dude, and he was literally the only player that could stay in front of De'Aaron Fox. And
Right.
at the end of the game,
Right,
like
that's
it
a
was
great point.
like, why can't we put RJ Hampton on De'Aaron Fox? Like, I love Monte Morris just as much as anybody. I might love Monte Morris
You might
more than
anyone on
I might
earth.
be the top Monte man in this world. And yet, still, I was like, please put RJ Hampton in. Like, we're not getting enough offensively out of Monte Morris to justify the fact that he gets blown by with almost no regard on every time down on that side of the court. It is so frustrating to get beat in the same way over and over and over and over. We get beat with Rashawn Holmes push shot floaters from the top of the key.
That guy is like unbelievable. Rashawn Holmes.
De'Aaron Fox blow-bys, and it's just like that or that or that or that.
De'Aaron knows it too, man. He was John at the whole Nuggets roster, just like, and he had a right to. Like, it was, I'm sure he's telling them, like, you guys can't guard me, and it's like, yeah, they're all like, yeah, we actually can't do that. Rashawn Holmes push shot, though, the best shots of all time. Kareem Skyhook, number 1. Michael Jordan's fall away, his fall away, number 2. I would put Rashawn Holmes with the 14-foot push shot at number 3, and then the Dirk one-legged fadeaway. I think that's number 4. That's it.
Steph Curry didn't even make the list.
Curry has to be.
Eat your heart out, Steph Curry.
Yeah, he's all right, but he's no Rashawn Holmes from 14 feet out. That's a lock.
Logo Lillard can go home and cry.
That is a guaranteed shot. You know what's funny is I had people texting me about how great he was. You know, I talked to a guy who trains NBA player. He always texts me, and he's like, dude, that Rashawn Holmes, high IQ player, knows his spot. And we were joking about it today. He got the shot from 15 feet, and he's like, no.
Yeah.
Runs a pick and roll, gets it at 13 feet, and he's like, yeah, I got it. Boom, drained it. It's like he knows exactly where the range ends, and he doesn't take it. I love it.
And everybody around him knows where to find him. Every one of his shots come from the exact same spot. There was one time it was on the, in the corner,
side,
and you're like, well, what is happening here? And it still was a swish.
God damn it.
He's working on that part of his game every single day, and it's just in him. But also that comes with IQ. He's not stepping outside of himself. There was a lot of times he looked at the rim. He's like, nope, I'm going to get in a little bit closer. I'm going to pass it and get back to my spot. And the Kings did a good job of putting him right back into where he needs to be. And like you said, that's just a high percentage shot. It's better than a dunk at this point.
It really is better than a dunk.
Can you even call it a high percentage shot? Like it's just a screen dunk.
It really is, man. It's so crazy. But you know, back to RJ Hampton. I wonder if he's earned himself some more minutes. He's played a lot over this last little stretch, and I think the numbers bear out that he's actually been a negative when he's on the court. But again, like, if you just talk about guys that seem to understand what they need to do to earn more minutes, I think he's got it. And I don't know if it's going to happen this year for him or not, but he's a guy to me that I'm just like, could Denver, if they were to make a trade, and it would end up being some kind of consolidation where you have to throw out some of the guards that you have on your roster now and consolidate, whether that's Gary Harris, Will Barton, PJ Dozier, Facundo Campazzo, whoever it is, you consolidate and bring less back. Could you count on him for 10 minutes a game? I think you could. Like, I think I count on RJ Hampton 10 minutes. He'll be a negative sometimes, but I feel like he does the right things that, hey, put him out there.
I'm sure that his negative comes in garbage time, like the most ultimate garbage time. And they've been horrible in the last minute of the game. That's where a lot of teams have, like, backdoor covering and everything like that. Everyone goes on a run for the garbage time. So when you put him with other guys that can actually create on their own and put him in spots where he could be himself, he's been looking good. Like, today was a game that you could say, yeah, I'll play him for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I think the biggest part about RJ Hampton is all the guys that played tonight were not rotation guys.
No.
And any non-rotation guy, come in, play hard. Nuggets fans will like it. Malone will like it. And he was the only one that did that tonight. It was like all over the court, making plays. Like, yeah, is he sloppy? Did he drop a ball when he had an open layup? Yes.
Yeah.
But overall, like, if you're playing hard and you're a non-rotational player, that's what you need to do to get more minutes.
Dude, you need to surround transcendent talents with tryhards.
Oh, it's so true, man.
You need to put, like, Facundo Campazzo as a tryhard. RJ Hampton is a tryhard. Will Barton is a don't try that, man. You just need, like, especially around Jokic, like, you just need guys that are, like, cutting to the rim, that are engaged, that are causing confusion defensively, and you don't need them to do a lot more on the offensive side of the ball, and we just couldn't even get that. Like, there was just, like, everyone just had, like, droopy diapers today. It was sad times, dude.
We get to talk about another fun one here, which we get another fun one, which is Marcus Howard. Marcus Howard gets into the game. He has 12 minutes tonight, which is kind of wild. Like, we were talking about before the game who gets in. Well, it wasn't Bull, it wasn't Hartenstein. We'll talk about that decision here in a second. But it was Marcus Howard who gets 12 minutes. I enjoyed all 6 of his shots, but only one of them went in, man. I'm kind of blown away by that. Missed 2 wide open threes. How would you evaluate his game, Eric? I know you're a big Marcus Howard guy.
Marcus Howard came in with the unbelievably, like, indefensible confidence that you want.
That's so true.
He came in and it couldn't be shaken. Like he was 1 for 6, but I was still like, keep shooting, don't stop.
And he was. He didn't need to be told
shoot,
that, yeah.
shoot or shoot, and he didn't. But he stopped shooting. But like I really did like what I saw out of him. Just in the stage was not too big. Like he wasn't like shying away from it. He was just off. I mean, whatever. Like he's not always going to be off. That is the greatest percentage-wise shooting guard the NCAA has ever seen. So, like, I want him to come in. I want him to start jacking up shots. Like,
He's not. He might not be a player though, because here's the thing about
I
him.
think he might be a player, dude.
He's an elite shooter, but he doesn't do anything else. And if you look at the stat line, he gets 12 minutes tonight. He gets 3 points. Okay, the shot didn't fall tonight. If he plays those many minutes again and gets those shots, I'll bet you he has 7, 8, 9 points.
Yeah.
I mean, he just had. It was clearly his first night getting real minutes. He had 1 rebound, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 1 turnover. Like he just that's the thing about him is I don't know that he does anything else other than make shots.
Yeah, that was his first quarter debut in his career. Never got in the first quarter.
Right.
He gets in and I mean, that's the only thing you could expect from him. Like, that's the only reason that he was drafted is because he's a scorer, he's a gunner. He's going to get shots up. They didn't fall today, but you said that you liked those shots. I did not like those shots as much. Like
He had 2 wide open ones, and he had a couple that were like,
just
well, all right,
contested
Marcus.
shots.
But he made
also,
one of the contested
I was just going to
ones.
say, but also with how many players were injured for the Nuggets and how the flow of the offense was going, he has to take those shots. And you want a guy that's going to be aggressive, that's going to take those shots, especially in that second unit that had to alter because of all of the injuries. So Marcus Howard doesn't make shots tonight, but keep shooting.
You a Marcus Howard fan?
Dude, I love the 3-ball. Like I'm a big fan of those dudes that just come in and
dig
fire
the
it off.
3-ball.
Like, Buddy Hield was 0 for 9 tonight, but that's what he does. And normally
Right.
he's a killer. Like it does hurt when he had the wide open ones that he missed. Those ones, like if he goes 3 for 6 tonight, we're freaking out.
They
over
might have
the mark,
won.
Yeah, exactly.
They honestly might have won.
And they weren't, their shot. If he's taking shots within the flow of the offense when he's in the game, I'll take him. If he misses them, he misses them. But didn't he make like 99 of 100 threes in an empty gym or something like that?
He's like a crazy shooter.
That's crazy to me that he has 2 open shots and can't make them.
I mean, Denver shot 37% from 3, and Jokic in particular goes 3 of 6, which is some of the ones he hit were kind of crazy. But they shoot 37% as a team, but you get 1 of 5 from Howard, 1 of 7 from Porter. Those to me are probably your number 1, number 2 best 3-point shooters on the team, and you get 2 of 12. Oversimplifying to say that's the game, but it really was like you just get 4 of 12 out of them, and you probably win this one. But
This is, dude. All right, everybody. I know. Listen,
are you gonna exercise the bet at Juju?
listen, everybody. I need you
up.
to listen.
Play
to this.
the. Can you play the music that's like real impassioned speech one?
I need everyone in the chat to listen to me. All right, we are involved in a 76 game season.
72.
72 game season. NBA seasons are very long. A lot of things happen throughout NBA seasons. When different people play, different results happen. The human beings involved in the game make a difference.
Preach.
And so when we lose certain players, the game becomes different. Like, we don't need to make trades. We don't need to blow the team up. We do need to get healthy. We're going to lose some
A lot of
games that we
wheeze in
shouldn't
this one
lose
here.
down
I feel
during the
healthy.
season, but we're also going to win some games that we're not supposed to win.
Yes,
Have
yes,
a little
yes, yes.
patience.
Monday night.
Have a little patience, people. We're going to be back. The Nuggets just absolutely beat the snot out of the Jazz, the number 1 team in the NBA.
I remember.
Gary Harris got hurt that game. The next game was against the Lakers, a team that you need to have your team in fully intact to be able to compete against. Today we have 4 guards out, including Jamal Murray, who is our second best player.
Listen
At times
to it.
he's our best scorer.
Listen to it.
Things happen in the NBA. We lose games. Come on, let's talk about what happened, but let's not lose our heads, shall we? Please? Okay.
All right, that was very good. Actually, can we applaud this? This was good. Give us the applause. There was the jobs. You know what? It is true though, because we have picked up a lot of European followers, and there's a lot of people watching. Even tonight, from Europe, and we see them. They're the most vocal in the comment section often, and especially the Campazzo fans. I guess South American fans, but we get a lot of this of like. Malone needs to do this or this or that. Like, the one thing that you don't get when you don't watch the NBA. Like when you're coming over to the NBA for the first time, it's just how damn long the season is. It really is a marathon,
dude,
man.
We got the brakes beat off of us so many times.
We were talking about this
during the
last game.
season, we got there were so many times where it was like, well, I guess Malone needs to be fired, and then once he's fired, we should probably burn his house down. And then we got to the playoffs, and it's like when this team is put in a situation where their back's against their wall, we've seen the resilience and the resolve that this team possesses. You don't get that every night in the NBA. Like, you just don't. Like, players are tired. They have to travel. Sometimes situations are untenable, and like they just like you just need to understand like what we have on this team. It's bad. This was a bad game. I said a lot of swear words. I swore at Dev. I called Dev a loser at some point. I don't think he heard me until just right now.
I didn't know that.
We're gonna be back, baby. It's all right. It sucks to lose to the Kings. I get it.
I wasn't listening, dude. I just like my favorite song. He
called me a loser.
He called you a loser. Well, I guess I agree with that. Last year, around game 35, maybe game 40, halfway through the season, the Clippers blew out the Nuggets on national television so bad that Will Barton had to step up and be like, yo, you realize everyone thinks we're a bunch of punks?
Yeah.
And like we're humiliating and like this or that. And at that moment, if you would have written the Nuggets season, it would have been like, you know what? They're not tough. They're not resilient. They're not going to ever beat the Clippers. They're not a real team. And then they go out and beat the Clippers because they're tough and resilient in the playoffs. And it's like, yo, this is long. So 100%. I think. Oh, look at this. Some in honor.
Yeah, we're
Oso Blanco really feeling it, man. The Rocky is coming, baby. I need some Rocky to be. I don't need Rocky, but I'm gonna take it. It's Saturday.
Yeah, dude.
Let's take our final break. It looks like.
We've got super chats to answer in this last segment.
Oh, do we really?
We got some from Josh Moore. Yep.
Can't wait for that. So let's take and hit our last break here. You have those. You have that pulled up on your phone here.
Which one is that?
Oh God.
We got. Man, I can't believe.
You see what happened? Like if you want to
Jokic. I feel like Jokic dragging like all these dudes.
If you want an illustration of what I'm talking about,
here, Marcus Howard.
But if you want an illustration of what I'm talking about, consider what it's like when when Harrison is in here reading the reads, and then we change people. What happens?
That's so true.
Disaster.
Harrison's
it's off the rails.
Yeah, it's so true. Harrison's Jamal Murray over here. We put in Marcus Howard.
Dev actually has 2 to do because Josh bought him one.
My spine. My spine.
Yeah. Super. Yeah.
And then Vogt will be getting the house here for a second.
For
Unless you want to tag him out. Are you good?
Huh?
All right. Yeah, it's going to be a minute. You should pull your laptop in here and have Spence listen to him.
All right, so we're going to tell you guys about DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 sportsbook online in America, and there's some game tomorrow between the Chiefs and the Buccaneers.
The big game.
I don't know. It is the big game. I think it's called.
I would call it a bowl.
Actually, for this reason, you should just give us. Do you have like a hot take on the Super? I know you're a gambler. Spence might be #1 gambler in the DNVR community.
I have $1,500 on the Kansas City.
You didn't have to
Chiefs
flex like that, bro. You just
say
said
on the KC Chiefs.
Wow. If I'm gonna watch the Kansas City Chiefs win back-to-back Super Bowls, I'm gonna at least make money on it.
All right.
He gets crazy with this.
Zavelli.
Hold on.
Zavelli.
No. I learned it's Javelli. I learned. Somebody help me out. Shouts in the chat. Oh yeah.
Thank
Can
you
you
guys
take
for the
shots
back.
like a man or no? Oh, look at him. True Serbian here. A true Serbian.
I just had to spit mine out. I fucking almost vomited.
That would have been funny.
I can do it.
I would have enjoyed
Ready?
that.
Oh God. That one really got me. Holy shnikes.
All right, so the 55th Super Bowl is this weekend, and DraftKings has a no-brainer bet for all those new signups. All you have to do is sign up. Use the code DNVR, and if one touchdown is scored, you double your money. It's called a no-brainer. There's tons of no-brainers all year, and you can make a ton of money off of doing no-brainers. Love me some no-brainers. Can I say no-brainers any more times? Probably not. All right, so
making me want to bet on the Chiefs, man. This kind of sucks. I might throw down a few.
They also have the big game prediction for the fourth quarter, with a challenge up to $55 million in prizes. DraftKings has paid out over $7 billion to its players since 2012, and they know a little bit about big payouts. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code DNVR to get a shot at doubling your money if one touchdown, which is going to happen, is scored tomorrow in the Super Bowl. That's promo code DNVR. Get a shot at doubling your money. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com youtube.com/prediction-challenge-DFS for details. Do you have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-422-7400.
I'm being nice to him, the new guy here.
Votes off screen.
He's got now like the elite level. There's like certain reads that are easy, certain ones are hard. Chevalier Mortgage. Let's go, baby. All right, hey, Vogt, did you want to come do Chevalier Mortgage?
Sure.
All right, Chevalier Mortgage.
Mike in Virginia.
Mike and Virginia Chevalier. They're big DNVR fans. They're subscribers. They are awesome.
Man. I feel like Mo Cheeks over here at the national anthem. I gotta step in. I'm gonna tell people about this. I say it all the time. How is wealth created in America? Through real estate. This is like, if you know a single rich person that doesn't own real estate or doesn't leverage their real estate for other investments? No, it's a fact. The barrier for entry, it's all about barrier for entry. People don't understand. They think it's so complicated I could never do it. It's not true. What you need is somebody that knows you and that can help you through that complicated process. That's Mike and Virginia Chevalier, who, again, you already have something in common with them. They're diehard Denver sports fans, just like you. So you want to give them a call.
They're suffering with us right now.
They are indeed suffering with us. You can call Virginia at 303-257-6578. Ask them, say, hey, if you're a first-time buyer, say, hey, I'm a first-time buyer, but I just want to look into it. I want to go through the ropes. Don't think you're don't know enough to call them. You don't have to know anything. They'll walk you through that whole process. Or maybe you already have a real estate portfolio. You got a house, investment property, whatever it is. You want to check on rates because rates are so low right now and refinance your property. They're also there for that. So 303-257-6578, or you can call Mike directly, 970-412-2472, guys. I say this stuff. You guys know this. I'm a big real estate guy. I say this because I truly believe in it. And they're obviously our partner here. DNVRmortgage.com is where you want to go. And then I have to give these for legal purposes. NMLS number for Michael Chevalier, 1931006. Virginia, and NMLS number 1910631.
Well done. That was.
Who was it?
That was
Who
very
won to?
good.
Oh,
it was Jokic. I had the same guy. I had the same guy
right,
for king of the game.
Same.
50
I thought it was
points.
Tyrese Halliburton.
I will say I did lose my triple-double bet.
yeah.
Me too.
That
50.
I swear to God, he had 9 rebounds. They did not credit him on rebounds.
You know why he only had 8 rebounds?
Because we needed 10.
Because the Kings did not miss a shot for most of the game.
And
they just
RJ
weren't
Hampton got
rebounds.
every other one.
RJ Hampton. They just didn't miss a shot. We were watching. We were counting for it. All right, are we ready? Is Vogt over there?
He's not, but we can do super chats.
Okay,
Yeah, let's do these
let's get
super
to some
chats.
super chats, Kel. No, well, it is a 50-point game. You're going to want to be there for that. I can't. Questions for Adam. On an earlier podcast, you said that this season will be defined on if we can fit MPJ into our system. Are we still there? What's the state of the team? Who are we?
Who are we?
Who are
any
we?
of us?
Yeah, this is what I love about sports is they really do bring you to the core questions of life. Who are we?
Who are we?
Who are
is
we?
this team?
And also, why are we?
Why are
I
we
would
much
ask.
better? Much more probing question.
No, so I stand by that statement, guys. And I think if you just talked about this season as a success or a failure, to me, they're 12-10. There's a lot of time left. But to this point, if you would have told me this is where they are in the process of integrating at Michael Porter, I'd say yikes. Because it just hasn't been there. And we've talked about this in circles, but really it's about trust. It's about execution on it's about trust on Michael Malone's part, execution on his part, and then success as a team as a whole. And none of those 3 things have hit so far. So to me, line number 1 on the bio for the Denver Nuggets 2021 season is not a lot of progress thus far on the MPJ front.
Well, yeah, and I think that the frustrating thing for us as fans and just watching the games is last game, when they lost to the Lakers and everything was falling down, we were watching Paul Millsap play 32 minutes and MPJ had 20. I tweeted
closing
17
minutes.
times, why isn't MPJ playing? Let him make the mistakes. And then today he plays 34 minutes, I believe,
the
or 30,
mistakes.
and he made the mistakes. And so I think that hurts from a standpoint of you wanted him to play more. And today Jamal's out, so he's starting, he's playing more. And he doesn't give you what you had hoped he was going to give you. And it just sucks, from a standpoint of this was another chance for him to step up. He, like you said, he makes 4 of 7 from 3 instead of 1. They win this game. And it's a totally different game.
It's funny, when you have a long-standing narrative like that, where it's this season is about MPJ. If the Nuggets are ever going to reach the pinnacle of what it is that we can imagine them being, it's with Jamal Murray firing, MPJ firing, Jokic in the middle of them, Gary Harris playing top defense, and then either Millsap or Green. And neither one of those goddamn guys, Murray or MPJ, can either stay healthy or hot at the right times. They just cannot piece this together. The Nuggets, like, we just cannot see our fully formed battle station and what it looks like. Like, that is I mean, you know, it's a much better situation than when you have all of your team together and they just look lackluster. Like, we just cannot get this goddamn team together firing on all cylinders at the same time. It's so frustrating.
Where do you fall on the scale of just like, how do you feel about the Michael Porter thing? Malone not trusting him enough? Michael Porter not learning the lessons he needs to? Is that a spectrum? Where do you fall on it?
I mean, I think it's still just a story that's still being written.
Yeah.
The best Nuggets is going to be when all of them are going together. Like, every single one of them are together. Jamal, Jokic, and Michael Porter Jr. Because we know that at Michael Porter Jr.'s ceiling, it's higher than anything else. We just saw Jokic go for 50 points, and it was amazing. But once we see Michael Porter Jr. does that, it just brings a different element to the team. We're excited now, but the Mike night is one of the best nights of the entire year, just because we know what type of ceiling it is and how everyone else around him.
We haven't said those words in so long.
We haven't said that.
I've been shoehorning them in at any opportunity. Like when he gets like picks up the ball under the net and like gently drops it in. I'm like, I'm like, wide open layup, baby, let's do it.
Because you're trying to relive that moment. You're trying to get that feeling back. And that's the type of that's his high, and that's what he could bring to the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Everything falls around him.
I really worry that. I mean, I don't know at what point you start to panic. Like, there is a trade deadline this year, and I do feel like Denver at the trade deadline is just going to have to make a decision. I don't know that you can go into a whole other offseason, but it's got to start coming together for him now. Let me ask you this one, Dev. I'm going to start with you, but I want to ask you too, Eric. Do you feel like Michael Malone's success as a coach is tied to Michael Porter?
I think it is, but I don't think that it should be.
Okay.
Just because Michael Porter Jr. had a whole year to learn the plays. Like, that was all he had to do. He didn't have to go and really run through practice or anything else. He had to learn the plays. He had to learn defensive assignments and where to be on the floor. You get to watch that. Like, you go to a gym or you go to a pickup right now and you could just look for a few games and figure it out.
Yeah.
This guy had a whole year, and then also now he had another year that he actually was in it, experiencing it. So I don't think that that's on Malone to have this guy run the plays or learn the plays or know where to be.
Yeah.
That's something that he should have already known, and he has to do on his own time.
So what do you mean by that question exactly? Like,
what I'm saying is, can Michael Porter fail with the Denver Nuggets and Michael Malone succeed right now going forward? Michael Malone's already succeeded to this point.
So that's what I'm asking.
From this point going forward,
like, does Michael Malone have the team around him where he can
Here's
level?
what I'm really asking you guys, because this is the thing that I think is on everybody's mind in some form or fashion is, it didn't go well for Nurkic for a lot of reasons.
Ooh.
Some of which was Denver's fault, some of which were not. But at the end of the day, they lost a very talented and promising player for almost nothing. In fact, they really paid to get rid of him when you would have hoped that you could have said, like, hey, here's a really good center, maybe a top 10 center in the NBA that's worth something. What can we get for him? And right now with Michael Porter, I still think he has a lot of value. I think somebody would take a shot on him. But that's the fear, is that, like, you can't waste this asset and this player and say, not only did it not work out for us, but it also is not, now it's no longer a thing that is of value.
This feels like too reactionary for me. Like, Michael Porter Jr., he looked like a shell of himself today. Like, this was not.
But isn't it moving in that direction, though?
I agree, but before he got sick or whatever, like,
shouts to Spence, guys. DNVR Golf, you're gonna want to show up.
Big Drive Spence, dude.
Big Drive Spence is a homie.
He didn't know
really
we were
like
gonna tap him in. He comes in, he reads the read, he gets absolutely flamed in the comments for doing it.
Hey, you're one of my top 2 favorite people on the golf beat, bro.
Big Drive
really.
Big Drive Spence. Follow Big Drive Spence. Follow DNVR Golf. These are the homies.
The rest of these super chats real quick. Josh sent $5 for Dev to take a shot and said he's going to give one every time Gary starts.
Yep.
So that's cool.
Thank you.
Wow, that's going to be a lot of shots. Every time Gary starts a game?
Josh is just
wow, that's a lot, man.
Do you see the pain on
bring him up
Dev's
some
face?
Rocky. Or you have some Rocky. You can pour your own Rocky.
Gary Harris did not
He
start.
poured him a double.
Well,
And I did get a double.
Ghazi's just letting us know some information, which is
okay.
cool.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this one on the timeline a lot. Jokic's the first center in NBA history to have 50 points, or fifth, 50 points, 12 assists, 8 rebounds, right?
Kareem
He's the first center to
Abdul-Jabbar.
do it since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1970. Guys, this is a great stat, but this is anytime you have multiple qualifiers, whatever, Jokic is going to lead the NBA in 3 qualifiers. Meaning anytime you say points, rebounds, assists, the Jokic is going to be like the only one to ever done it because nobody does the combination of scoring, rebounding, and assists that Jokic does, other than Kareem, like the all-time Hall of Famers. Jokic is so good, man. It's like it's funny how many people really you see the national narratives and how many people wrote these stories, but Jokic fans need to buckle in. This is how it's going to be until and unless he wins a championship, and then it all will switch. Like Dirk Nowitzki, I know it's hard for people to remember because I know a lot of you guys are youngins. 2010 and a half, Dirk Nowitzki, a bum, fake superstar, second tier, not really good at anything actually, guys. He just shoots well but doesn't show up in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden it's like, does he have the greatest championship of the decade? He single-handedly carried him past the super team. Everything switched, and it's not fair.
Favorite, European players too.
Well, he is in my top 3, and I have in my top 2 are a little unusual, so it's true. All right, what else we got?
Some Serbian word.
So that's a DNVR. Look at that, DNVR. How did I get through that?
Holy
That's
shit, that is
how good I am.
absolutely
I'm
going
telling you,
into
people
it.
don't know I read Cyrillic. I really do. DNVR.
That doesn't say
That is what DNVR is.
Does it really?
It says printing DNVR on your shirt. It says donation for printing.
It looks a
DNVR.
lot like 4 different letters.
It really does, but that's DNVR.
Different alphabets,
Watch,
huh?
shouts to all my Serbians. They're going to hop in and be like, Adam, he's a homie. Geography and languages.
And birds.
Dude, I
And
gotta
birds.
Just
Really, the whole animal kingdom.
Vogt, I gotta say, people really loving the haircut.
I'm surprised. I think it's
They
just
really-
I went that long without getting
They
one.
really like this haircut.
Just sweet relief.
Hey, chat, do you guys have any thoughts on my hair at all? Or
And then we just got a super chat from Vanya saying we are transcending culture, drinking rakia out of a red Solo.
Oh, I love it.
So
That is
true.
so true.
I think we're
That's how
I
you
think
do
we're
it, baby.
subverting
We're probably the
culture.
first people ever to do that. I don't know. It's possible.
I said DNVR. I got it right, guys. I mean, I'm telling you, like it is
Got it right.
DNVR. All right.
That's all we got.
I'm super curious. Thank you guys, everybody, for the super chats. We really appreciate it. We really, honestly,
We love our
we
people.
really do love our people. Like, I know not
I know a
everybody
lot of
does.
you are screaming things at us that make it
Very
seem like
hateful,
You
very
maybe don't
personal,
love us,
yeah.
but we love you. It doesn't matter. We're like
True.
Jesus that way.
I honestly, you know what's funny, man? I embrace it all. We share. I always say we suffer together. People are mad at us. It's the therapy, but you know what? I embrace it. Tell me,
seen your hair.
guys, Jokic scores 50 points. I'd really like to know what he had to say after the game.
Sure. We talked to Jokic. Here's Jokic on his approach. Why were you so aggressive tonight? Mike Singer asked. I think I was not so aggressive.
Yeah, I
Jokic
could have
replies.
actually answered this one.
He said, I was actually just locked in. My focus was at an all-time high. I knew I was playing with younger guys. To some extent, I'm paraphrasing here, of course, but and that he was really just trying to help them. That was his approach, was to be the guy the younger guys needed. How he did in that regard, he's not sure. Yeah, there's really
He's
not
perfect,
much more
man.
you could ask.
He's
It's
like
really,
so perfect. I just don't know what this. Like, people got mad at me earlier because I was like trying to look for the speck in his eye, you know, and I was like, well, I don't know this or that. He didn't. But, like, Jokic is so freaking perfect, man.
He's the best. Dude.
He really is the
I would
best.
actually. Does anyone have his personal phone number? I'd love to call him up and chat sometime.
and he did say he was very aggressive in the fourth quarter. Bit of a language barrier, but I loved the result. He said, because just to try it. Gold. As to Sacramento and them being a really tough matchup, he said they push the pace really well. They have some fast
True.
guards.
It's true.
And guys, he mentioned the push shot from the centers.
Oh,
He
no.
sees it too, and that in between game really gives them trouble. And look, there's a lot of Jokic on his heels because point of attack defense was porous at best.
Yeah,
And
really bad.
retreating on the pick and roll, and like guys that can sort of just stop and pop from that middle range. It's just as a disaster for him when they can't stop the pick and roll to begin with. So he highlighted those reasons as why they struggle against Sacramento. Loved RJ, loved the 10 rebounds. That's a good example of how athletic he is. And his only note for RJ, shoot when you're open. And then finally, when asked what it's going to take to get this thing, the defensive end, to get things going again, he went to some old Denver Nuggets tropes, trusting each other, playing for each other, playing
not
hard.
skipping steps.
Playing for each other is something Malone has
What I wore
said
today.
since
See what I wore?
he got here in Denver. And it's the kind of thing that sounds like an empty coach platitude when you're losing games, but there's something to it for the Nuggets. There's a way that we always say urgency. I think for them, it's playing for each other. Playing like the guy next to you is busting his ass and he deserves nothing less from you. That's a message that I think resonates with Jokic since in Malone's tenure, and it's just something that they're not doing at the moment.
Yeah. I think that's all good stuff, man. I mean, Jokic obviously clearly gets it.
Oh, one more. Someone asked him what it means for him to be an early MVP consideration. His full response, I really don't think about it.
I think that's actually also accurate.
I believe
also
it. I
accurate.
think he really truly doesn't think about it unless we ask.
Jokic is blowing my mind with the scoring, though. I'm going to say that, man. Like, I mean, what's he? He's probably up to 27.5 points
would
per
have to
game.
check, but you'd
I
think.
could check that while you look this up. Tell me what Michael Malone, what kind of mood was he in? So the Nuggets now, I don't know if he knows this, but they're now 10-10 against the Sacramento Kings. I have to imagine that really chaps his ass.
Yeah, no one had the gall to ask him that question.
Really?
today.
Why? He didn't want to talk about that?
Yeah, I just think no one wanted to find out. He was asked about Michael Porter Jr., what it's going to take for him to what it's going to take for the team for Malone to sort of wake MPJ up. And Malone said, sometimes you have to participate in your own recovery. He said it can't just be on the head coach to fix MPJ. It starts with Michael. He then added, I have no doubt he'll be better next game. He basically said he said Michael's down right now. He's down on himself about his game, and it's on us, coaching staff, teammates, to find ways to pick him up. He said it starts defensively, no surprise there. The jump shot is going to come and go, Malone said. He's got to be locked in defensively. Now, we talked to Monte Morris about that, who said MPJ's first thoughts about his own performance tonight was not the shooting woes, it was the -20. And that what's really bumming him out is that he's a guy who, when he's out there on the floor right now, other teams are going on runs. So Monte thinks that Michael seems to get this.
He's actually reiterating, I hope you guys listen to the Keeping It 1000 podcast. I know I push this on every show, but George Karl said both he's seeing it, but also that he's hearing it. That
right.
Michael Porter is seeing the right, like Michael Porter is aware, and we talk about confidence. Part of this is I think he's like, looks at the numbers and it can't lie. Like, yo, everybody was like a +or-3 tonight, except for me, and I was a -20. Like,
also, he'll make an egregious error and just like drop his head.
And you'll see it. Like, I agree with this. That I think that Michael Porter really is aware of the fact that he's not good right now.
I hope he
and it sucks. And that's, I know part of it is like maybe it's not good to be aware.
And Monte get like just straight up Marcus Howard confidence. Just starts jacking it up. Like,
I mean, Monte talked about how much is on MPJ's plate right now.
So much.
How much everyone's talking to him.
I still love MPJ,
how much he
man.
has
He's
to
so
think, right?
good.
And kind of how unfair he is. Again, these are not direct quotes. I'm paraphrasing, but this was his message. Like, he thinks he's handling all of it, all things considered, really well. And that he seems to get it. And with regards to Mike and the defense, Monte, my favorite quote of Monte from the night, quote, I don't think it's a problem, end quote. So, I mean, look, these guys believe in Mike.
I trust in Monte, so...
I think that's fair. Like, whether or not Mike gets what it takes to improve on the defensive end, fair question. But that he has to be better, why he's not playing, and that, most importantly, the reason why he's under this microscope is simply because he, more than anyone on planet Earth, can possibly vault the Denver Nuggets into the finals for the first time. And I think he feels the weight of that responsibility for better and for worse.
You and Eric on fire today, man.
It's the haircut.
You know what?
Is it the haircut for you, Eric?
My hair. Well, I showed over my forehead, which is very well received. And you know what else is on fire? My esophagus from that Rocky.
That's true. It is on fire.
Can I get a Rocky shot, Kale? No one paid us, but I'm sad.
Somebody did, but Spencer took it. They didn't pay for you specifically. Did you pull this up? Is this on the screen? Guys, look at the Nuggets game tonight. Look what those shots are. I mean, there are a lot of threes, but around the rim wasn't that bad. Like, they got some shots inside. They just got so many goddamn floaters. Look at how many floaters that is.
Can we just put Rashawn Holmes' face on
just
all
Rashawn
of those ones?
Holmes. Yeah, just like a nightmare. Like,
gross.
Hey, sometimes you're on the recipient of that end of it. I like what you say. You know what? Can I tell you something? The losers lounge at its worst, as in last game, it's a real downer. It's a real depressor. But at its best, provided some much needed perspective.
Therapy, baby.
And I feel like both of you, not you, Dev, tonight.
I mean, come on. Dev could have brought
your minutes
this
were
is
kinda,
this is a trap result.
But also myself. Like, I feel like I'm also a negative.
We talk about trap games for players.
Plus 20 for Eric.
For media, fans, wherever we fall on that spectrum, this is a trap result. It's gonna you want to react tonight.
Yeah, that's true.
And I really don't think it's a wise night for grandiose takes.
Man, I love this. You win though. You win. You were only here for like.
That's all you have to do. You have to come in for 5 minutes.
Came in for 5 minutes and just like.
I did that same goddamn take with an impassioned.
It was a lot longer. He was so succinct, man.
From Vogt.
You wrote a damn novel. He wrote a poem.
You're a bit
said
of
the same thing.
A bit of a rambling man, Eric. But I love your rambles.
Nobody wants to read the whole thing.
That's so true. It's a great spark.
Eric.
But guys, honestly, like, this game was really intriguing. Really intriguing. I do think I'll remember this specific. Some games go out in the wash. I'll remember the Jokic 50 piece. I remember all the miserable things that went wrong, but I like what you said. My perspective is now what you just shared, which is there's no such thing as good losses, but there's a lot of lessons that can come out of this one, and it's all about how you respond. And you talking about what Monte Morris had to say about MPJ, if he feels like he's on the right track, even if that it's not showing all of the result right now, I believe it. What's the Spurs' speech? Pounding the rock? Trying to split a rock. You hit it 100 times, it shows no progress, but you don't realize there is progress, you just don't see it, and then you split it. Maybe this is exactly what's going on with Michael Porter right now. We're not seeing the fruits of all of this labor, but at one day, those fruits are going to bloom, baby.
Look, if these processes were linear, like what... At a certain point, I think we have to acknowledge that we hold the Denver Nuggets to a standard that exists in our heads, which is what the Nuggets look like at their best, which is good enough to win a title. Right. And when they're anything less, we feel inclined to react, which I get. And chances are that they don't win that title. But like they're not in a different spot macro scale because they lost to the Kings without Jamal Murray today.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. We love you guys riding with us. I didn't get to look at the comments at all. I'm sure they were all negative at us.
Oriel Lero is not a fan.
He hates the pod. Thanks for watching, though.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Not a fan.
Hey, you know what? We still love you guys. We
love you.
Love or hate, we still love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit a like on the way out. We're back on Monday, guys. We'll see you all then.
We're gonna get drunk.
Not on Monday. We won't. Not on Monday.
Tonight.